Hello, darling friend. We live in a world of scrolling and screens, and yet the thing that we crave most is connection. The thing that our children crave most is our love, our time, our voice, our attention. Not all the time, but enough of the time. Did you know that children who grow up hearing stories, not reading them but hearing them, have stronger imaginations, richer vocabularies, and deeper empathy? And that's what I want to talk about today, the power of oral storytelling and how we as adults, parents, educators, librarians can nourish ourselves with stories so that we can share that with the children in our lives. Because the truth is that we can't pour from an empty cup. We have to let those stories fill us up first. As the old adage goes, we have to put on our own oxygen masks first. Once upon a time, before there were books, before writing, before screens, we told stories around the fire, by our bedsides, under the trees. We told them to share what we knew, to help us to understand the world, but perhaps more than that, for us to connect. So let's dive into stories. I'm going to break them down letter by letter. The first, S, start. Just start a story. If there's only one thing that you do today, it's to begin. Tell a tale without a book. It might be scary at first. You might think, oh, I'm not a storyteller, but you are. You always have been. And when you tell a story from your heart, even if you forget a bit, even if you stumble, that's the important thing. You're sharing your time, your love, your imagination, your courage. So grab what's around you and take an object, a banana from the table. Maybe that becomes a silver sliver or a golden sliver of the moon. Or a fork from your table, a farmer's pitchfork at harvest. Let the story come into your imagination, into your curiosity, your voice and your hands. T, transitions. Do you know what? Stories are brilliant at this time to give you a bridge between one and the next. So from home to school or vice versa, from bath to bed, from busy to calm. Try to make up a story, maybe in the car or on your way to the park, or tell it just before bed. You could share a story about a sleepy star that's lost its way and that slither of moon guides it back home again. Stories help children and us to cross from one activity to another, from one emotion to another, from one world to another. Oh, observation. The best storytellers in the world are the observers. The next time you're out walking, notice things. The swish of the wind through the trees, the roar of the plane overhead, the smell of the damp leaves or the freshly mown grass, the clouds as they shift and turn from a dragon into a house, into a lawnmower. And let those pictures, those smells, those senses remind you of a story from your childhood, a piece of music. Tuck these images, these senses away as treasures into your pocket so that when you tell a story, you can bring them out. The dragon that flies off and sits on top of that house, waiting to protect the people inside. So that you craft and share your stories using both your imagination and your memory and your senses. These really enliven stories. Remember. Do you remember a funny, jolly, quirky, bit frightening or terrifying adventure from your childhood? This is where our memories come in. Maybe you got lost in a supermarket. I did. Or you went swimming and went underwater a little bit too far and you came up spluttering. Maybe you found a snail and made a little house for it. Or you created imaginary monkeys in the tree and you owned a zoo. Children love these stories. They love to hear about our own past. And if you include your senses, what it sounded and smelt like, what it tasted like, what those apples from the tree tasted like, or the candy floss, you know, the candy floss, or the excitement in your chest when something new was happening. They really, really love this. And you can share that just off the cuff in the moment. Imperfect. There we are. That was an imperfect segue. There's no such thing as a perfect story. In fact, it's the mistakes that often make it magical. When we trip over a word or we forget a bit, just like I did then, we show our children that it's okay. It gives them permission to create their own stories, free from any pressure. I think it was Leonard Cohen who said, there's a crack in everything. It's how the light gets in. He said it much better than me. But those are the moments where the imperfection really supports a story. So laugh about it. If you forget the name of something, or you even forget where you are in a story, your child will remind you. Story isn't a performance, it's a relationship. And as we seed these stories, we're planting the words, the images, we're planting that love in our children. Equal balance. What I call the red arrow, which is the driving force, it's all the action of the story, and the blue breath, which is the description, the senses, the feeling world, the landscape. We need as much red arrow as we have blue breath. If we have just red arrow, then we can sort of exhaust our listeners. We're racing through from point, and they can become overwhelmed, our listeners. If we have too much blue breath, then we can start to get a bit sleepy. That's quite good at night time, but it can also get a little bit boring and it just goes on forever. So we need the energy of the red arrow and the description and the languid sense of the blue breath, and equal balance. Final S, share. Share your stories and your tales often, because every time you tell one, you will build that muscle of imagination. You will build your courage, you'll build your vocabulary, you'll build that connection between you. And your children, well, they'll start sharing stories too, and that will shape their language, their confidence, their creativity. It will shape their lives. Stories are gifts that grow the more you give them away. I think actually that's probably a riddle, isn't it? So my final thoughts. Remember stories. Start, transitions, observation, remember, imperfect, equal balance, share. And you don't need to use prompts, although sometimes objects are really good and helpful. You don't need a perfect memory, although your memory will improve as you continue. But you do need your heart, your voice, and your curiosity, your creativity, your willingness to make a mistake and make a fool of yourself. You see, when we share stories, whether they're real or imagined, we are connecting. And that ancient and beautiful, beautiful necessity for all of us stirs something between you, stirs something in you. Do it first for you. But go on, tell a story tonight and see what happens. I often share a story with my dog. Bonkers, yeah. If you've enjoyed these videos, this one and the others that I've been creating, please comment. It would do my channel a world of good, and I read all of your comments, and it helps me to decide what to share with you next. It also tells the algorithm that this is an interesting video. So if you've got to the end of this, please share it with others, give it a like, give it a comment. But whatever you do, no pressure in that. Please go well. Please keep sharing stories.